Today we continue to talk Mālukyaputta Sutta.
Recording in progress.
In this sutta, Buddha gave guidelines to Mālukyaputta. Tete Dettama Dambhavesati, Sude Suddhamma Dambhavesati, etc. So yogi need to understand that whenever objects is presented to you, you must try to stop the process of thoughts at the moment of manodvara or votapana, determining moments, and not let it go over to javana, impulsion, moment. So yogi tried to practice, yogi tried to follow these instructions to stop the flow of the moments of consciousness from reaching to the javana impulsion stage. It is very difficult because phenomena or that series of consciousness running very, very fast. As you train a lot, you practice very diligently to improve your mindfulness and concentration so that you can capture the running phenomena appearing and disappearing very quickly. As soon as you capture, they gone. As soon as you capture, they gone. Very difficult. But yogi have a lot of practice and patience and perseverance. Your mindfulness and concentration, moment by moment, increasing. And then you can stop this process of thoughts at the moment of Votapana and not let it go over to the javana. And then you can capture the reality. So data matamboisity, what the Buddha meant, you understand. Sute sutta matamboisity, mute mutta matamboisity. Also you understand the same. So when you hear something, stop at just hearing. Do not take it as permanent. Do not take it as pleasing. Do not take it as displeasing. Just stop at hearing. Just stop with the hearing consciousness after the Votapana moments and let it go there. Here also, will it be possible to stop at the hearing and not go over to the javana stages? Yes, it is possible, but again, it is very difficult because we are used to hearing sounds and making judgment, making comments on these sounds, so much so that it is almost impossible for us to stop at just hearing. Hearing is also a very complex process. It is not just one moment of hearing. There are different moments of hearing. In the practice of meditation, you notice phenomena are very different. Their functions are different. Moments are totally different. So there is very good results. Only you know the difference of these phenomena. So there are different moments of consciousness, different moments of thoughts involved in one act of hearing. When you hear something, some noise, you don't just hear the noise, you also determine where the noise comes from, whose noise it is, how far it is, from which direction the sound comes, and whether it comes from a far away place or a nearby place. And also, if you are familiar with the sounds, you can determine if it is the sounds of an engine, sound of a motorbike, sound of an aeroplane, etc. All these, your mind computes in just a fraction of a second. Then you can say that you hear the sounds of an airplane, a car, and so on. In a fraction of a second, you can compute all these things in your mind very, very quickly. Your mind compute very fast. You do not hear just the sounds, but also you hear all these details. So in here a sounds, there runs the same series of thought processes. When you practice meditation, you should be able to stop at just hearing or at just what is heard and not go over to the impulsion stages, jhana moments. It is difficult, but with diligent practice, it is possible. So when we talk about these things, the working of our mind, we have to magnify things so we can understand well. Just as when scientists explain about the structures of an atom, they use illustration that they magnify maybe billions of times. In the same way, we have to magnify thoughts, moments billions of times so that we can see or we can understand the working of the mind. With regard to the heart, there will be only the heart, Sutte Suttammattam Bhovisati, Mutte Muttammattam Bhovisati. With regard to the reached, there will be only the reached. So when we smell something, when we taste something, when we touch something, there are also these kinds of thought processes. With regard to the cognized vinyata, there will be only the cognized. Cognized vinyata means those cognized by mind and not directly by the five senses. So the instruction here is just be mindful. Apply mindfulness with diligence constantly so that you can stop, adjust what is seen, what is heard, and so on. That is because if we cannot stop there, if we cannot stop at just what is seen, we will surely reach the stage of impulsion, javana, 7 times, and also later stages of seeing, hearing, and so on. So we need to stay in our domain of practice, domain of noting. We need to stay in our own territory. Here in this case, we need to stay in Votapana, and we will not come to any harm. Nobody can harass us. But when we leave our domain, when we do not practice, we will be harassed. So we need to live in our own domain. We need to be going along with the natural phenomena. To observe the natural phenomena as they really are. So we have attachment or aversion or delusion with regard to all these objects. When there is aversion or when there is attachment, there will be what we call karma formation. And when there are karma formation, they are bound to be jati, becomings, or rebirths. So this cycle of suffering goes on and on and on if we cannot stop, adjust what is seen, and so on. In order to stop these rounds of samsara, rounds of suffering, from going rounds and rounds and round, we have to do something at the moment of seeing, hearing, and so on. So vipassana is concerned with primarily what is at the present moment. For a yogi, the present moment is the most important, especially in the beginning stages. Yogi only takes care of what is at the present moment. Later on, when you reach the higher stages, you may practice vipassana on things of the past, things of the future. You can practice. However, we cannot practice on things of the past or things of the future if we have no direct experience of the present phenomena, no direct knowledge of the impermanence, suffering, and non-self of the present phenomena. So what is important is to see the present as impermanent and so on. From the impermanence of the present phenomena, the yogi infers that the past must be impermanent and the future must be impermanent, because now you see the impermanence of the presently arising object. You see directly. And then you can infer that the past and future must be impermanent. So what is important for the yogis is the present moment. Yogi must not lose mindfulness at any moment. That is because if we lose mindfulness at any moment, we grasp at the things that we see or that we hear. When there is grasping upadana, there are sankara, karma formation, and so on. So it is important not to miss to note anything when it is present. Once it is grasped by way of tanna, attachment, or deity wrong view, it has already been grasped and we cannot undo it. So what is important for a vipassana yogi is the present moment. We cannot afford to miss to note anything which is at the present moment. When we pay attention to what is at the present moment, we don't have to worry about what is past and what is in the future. So Buddha advised us to live in the present moment, to take care of what is in the present moment. Here Buddha gave advice very briefly for the practice of vipassana meditation and the benefits. Buddha told Mālukyaputta the results of vipassana meditation. Buddha said, Mālukyaputta, when of the things seen, heard, reached, and cognized, in what is seen, there will be only the seen. In what is heard, there will be only the heard. In what is reached, there will only be the reached. In what is cognized, there will only be the cognized. That is meditation instruction. Then, what happened? You will not be with that. Mālukyaputta, when you are not with that, then you will not be there. When you are not there, you will not be here. And you will not be there, you will not be in both. That is the end of suffering. Pali is Yatotum Mālukyaputta Natata Tatotum Mālukyaputta Nivida Nahura Na Ubaya Mantarena is a one dot Dokasa. That means when you can stop at just what is seen, heard, and so on, you will not be with attachment, you will not be with anger, or you will not be with delusion. When you are not with attachment, or when you are not with anger or delusion, you will not be there. That means you will not be tied down to attachment and so on. When you do not have attachment or anger or delusion with regard to what is seen and so on, you will not be in this life. You will not be in another life. You will not be in both lives. That means when you practice meditation and when you have no attachment or anger or delusion to things seen, heard, and so on, and you go from one stage to another of vipassana knowledge, and when you reach the final stage of realization, you experience nibbana directly. When you experience nibbana directly, at that moment, you are not said to exist. There is no you at that moment, just the realizations of nibbana, cessation of all suffering. And so the next life also there will be no you, and in both there will be no you. It is the end of suffering. When yogi comes to the realization stage and becomes an Arya, noble person, or reach the stage of arahantship, there will be no rebirth for yogi. So that is the end of suffering. That is what we call nibbana, total cessation of suffering. So now all yogis are meditating diligently. Vipassana meditation will lead yogi to the final realizations of nibbana or final cessation of all suffering. There is a result to be gained from the practice of vipassana meditation or mindfulness meditation. After Buddha said this, Mālukyaputta told the Buddha what he understood of the Buddha teaching in brief, and Buddha agreed by saying sadhu sadhu. Later Buddha will expounded again. So according to practice, according to the instruction of guidelines, Mālukyaputta have to practice, and then Buddha encouraged you will not be with that. When Mālukyaputta you are not with that, then you will not be there or you will not be on that. When you are not on that, you will not be here, or you will not be there, or you will not be in both. That is the end of suffering. Buddha said, Yatoto nat Yatoto Mālukyaputta natina Tatoto Mālukyaputta natata. Yatoto Mālukyaputta natata Tatoto Mālukyaputta nivida. Na huram na ubya mantarena isewando dukkasa. By this passage, Buddha showed the results of the practice of meditation. The result of seeing, just as seeing, and so on. So here Buddha said, you will not be with that. If you can stop at just seeing, when you see something, just the heart, when you hear something and so on, you will be with that. That means you will not be with attachment, you will not be with anger, you will not be with delusion. That means if you can stop in the middle of the first thought process, or if you can stop at the end of the first thought process, or if you can stop at the end of the second thought process, you can stay, capture the true phenomena. So you will have no attachment or anger or delusion with regard to that phenomena or to that object. So that is because you have applied mindfulness and you have observed it thoroughly, so that there can be no chance of attachment or anger or delusion coming to you. So you will not be with that. You will not be with attachment, you will not be with anger or delusion. When you are not with that, then you will not be there, or you will not be on that. That means you will not have attachment with regard to these objects. You will not be on that. You will not be stuck on those objects, on those visible objects with attachment or with anger or with delusion. So in effect, these two statements mean the same. Not be with that or not be there means just the same. That you will not have any attachment or hatred or anger or delusion with regard to these objects. So when you are not with attachment or anger or delusion, you will not be stuck on that object with attachment, anger, and so on. When you are not there, or when you are not on that, you will not be there, you will not, or you will not be here, you will not be there, or you will not be in both. That means yogi, whom you call you, I, will not be in this life, you will not be in the next life, you will not be in both. That is the end of suffering. When you are not here, not there, nor in both, that is the end of suffering, that is real nirvana. When with regard to objects seen and so on, you do not have attachment, anger, etc., you will be gaining the realization of truth at that moment. At that moment of realization of truth, your mind is on nirvana. At that moment, you are not conscious of yourself. You are not conscious of your physical body. You are not uh, conscious of other mental activities. Where is your mind? Your mind is on nirvana. So it can be said that you are not in this life. You are not here, or you are not in the in the next life, or you are not there and you are not in uh, the both the here and there. That is because at that moment you lose everything. There is nothing but nirvana at that time. So when you are without attachment or hatred or delusion with regard to objects, you gain realizations of truth. That is nirvana. And there's another explanation with regard to this last sentence. You will not be here means you will not be attached to the six senses. You will not be attached to eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. You will not be there means that means you will not be attached to the seeing consciousness, hearing consciousness, smelling consciousness, and so on. In the acts of seeing, we have at least three components: eye sensitivity, retina, the visible objects, which is seen, and the seeing consciousness, three things. So when you apply mindfulness, when you watch the visible object, when you apply mindfulness and thoroughly contemplate on that object, you will not be attached to the eye sensitivity, or you will not be attached to the visible objects, or you will not be attached to the, the seeing consciousness. If you are not attached to these things, you are not attached to anything. At that moment, you are said to be experiencing a kind of nirvana. We should call it the Dinga Nibbutthi, momentary nirvana. The Dinga Nibbutthi, that is extinction of defilements by the momentary applications of mindfulness. So this momentary mindfulness or this momentary eradications of defilements by mindfulness, finally, it will help you gain the real realization or real eradications of mental defilements, taking nirvana as object. That is final. So the last sentence can mean that if you have no attachment to things, then you will have no attachment to the senses, eye, ear, nose, etc. Or you have no attachment to the objects, visible objects, sound, etc. You will have no attachment to the seeing consciousness, hearing consciousness, smelling consciousness, and so on. You have no attachment, all these. That is the end of suffering, that is nirvana. So this is the end result, or this is the benefits of the practice of mindfulness. You can experience if you practice until the end. So Saint Mālukyaputta asked him to teach him in brief. Buddha taught him very briefly. It takes about 10 sentences or 10 lines. So it is not easy to understand, but Mālukyaputta seemed to understand it very properly. He might have learned something before he came to the Buddha. So when the Buddha said just these words, just a very brief statement about mindfulness meditation, Mālukyaputta understood this brief statement in full. He understood this in detail. He not only understood the meaning of what the Buddha said in detail, but he spoke out to the Buddha that he understood in detail and also how he understood. He stated this understanding in 24 verses. You know, there are 6 kinds of objects: sights, sounds, odors, taste, touch, and Dharma objects. With regard to each kinds of objects, there are 2 sides. One is called the dark side and the other is the bright side or the white side. The dark side is where the person gets attached to things, seen, heard, and so on. The bright side is where the yogi applies mindfulness to the objects and does not get attachment. With regard to each side, Mālukyaputta uttered 2 verses. So there are 4 verses for each kind of object. Since there are 6 kinds of objects, there are altogether 24 verses. Before going to these verses, we have to recite Mercy Seer of Aphorism. Handout number 2. Page, can you look at your handout number 2? The benefits of Vipassana and realizations of Nibbana. And now page number 2, number 5, the benefits of Vipassana and realizations of Nibbana. So number 1 is the instruction. Instruction, yogi have to note every phenomena, everything continuously. So this is the guideline for Mālukyaputta. So number 1, can you follow me? Mālukyaputta, regarding things seen, heard, sensed, and cognized by you. In the seen, there will merely be the seen. In the heard, there will only be the heard. In the reached, there will only be the reached. In the cognized, there will only be the cognized. So only just very simple. It is you are doing all the time. Seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, knowing. So it is only this, but here Buddha summarized only 4. Seeing, hearing, reaching, and cognizing. 4 things you need to do. It is guidelines complete. That means you have to observe every phenomena, every kaya, every physical phenomena, every sensation, every citta, and all the dhamma. That means every phenomena occurring at the 6 senses, everything you need to observe clearly, you need to observe continuously whatever arises. And then results. What happened? What result you can gain? Number 2, can you follow me? If this can happen, then you have nothing to do with the objects you have seen, heard, etc. That means if you note, if you practice in this way, you have no entanglement with these objects. You know seeing, 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 you know hearing, 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 sound disappear, sight disappear, if your concentration getting strengthened. And that disappearing objects, do you have any attachment or hate or something? Nothing. You have no entanglement with these objects. That is, you remove the aramananusaya, kilesa dormant in, kilesa lying in the objects. There's no kilesa, there's no entanglement in that object. So that is results. And number 3, results. Can you follow me? If you have nothing to do with these objects, then you will not be in these visible objects. That means you have no entanglement with these objects, then you will not be entangled with these visible objects. No defilements arising relating to these objects, then you will not be entangled in these objects. And then what happened next? Number 4, can you follow me? If you are not in these visible objects, you will not be here. You will not be there, nor in between the two. If you exist nowhere, you can realize Nirvana, which is the end of all suffering. So what that means? You will not be here. You will not be. You will not be here. You will not be in these senses. You will not be there. You will not be 6 external visas. That means you will not be in the sight. You will not be in the sound. And you will not be in between the two. That means you will not be in the seeing consciousness, hearing consciousness, and so on. So that is real nirvana. Real nirvana. So if you practice again and again, you will understand Buddha was Buddha explanation to Mālukyaputta. So we continue the dark side and white side. Buddha explained to Mālukyaputta. Dark side is Ganapeka, and white side is Sokapeka. So Buddha said, indeed, and Mālukyaputta said to Buddha, indeed, Bande, I understand in full the meaning of what the Buddha has spoken in brief. So Mālukyaputta said, mindfulness is lost to him who, having seen a visible object, reflects upon the signs of beauty. Being of mind filled with attachment, he enjoys it and dwells swallowing it. So to such a person, diverse feelings are dependent upon the visible objects multiply. At that moment, Abhijja and Vyavada, Abhijja and Domanassa, covetousness and aversion torment his mind. To him, who thus accumulates karma formation, suffering arises. For such a person, Nirvana is said to be far away. So that is the dark side. So that is Mazi Sarah aphorism. We have to recite page number 2, what? Number 6, those who do not note and observe are far from Nirvana. The person who do not practice meditation, who do not develop mindfulness, and he is far from Nirvana. Seeing a visible objects and finding it pleasurable, he become heedless. So number 1, can you follow me? That is titled number 6. Those who do not note and observe are far from Nirvana. Number 1, follow me. Seeing a visible objects and finding it pleasurable, he become heedless. Seeing a visible object and finding it pleasurable, he become heedless. So the person not mindful, looking for pleasurable. So Buddha said, mindfulness is lost to him who, having seen a visible object, reflect upon the signs of beauty, because he looking for beautiful object. He like beauty, he like pleasure, so he looking for the pleasure and beauty. So if he do not apply mindfulness, he tend to take the signs of beauty. That means after seeing something, and if he do not apply mindfulness, he take it to be beautiful. He take it to be agreeable, and it is the nature of beings to want to see beautiful things, to find beauty in the things, to find beauty in that things, to find beauty in nature, to find beauty in animals, to find beauty in birds, and so on. So that is the attitudes are different of who are practicing practicing meditation. Yogi have no chance to find beauty. Yogi is whatever objects appear to you, you have to observe. You not purposely looking for beauty. Now the person is not mindful, and he looking for a beautiful object, so he lost mindfulness. So Buddha advice is just the opposite of that. If you take the signs of beauty, if you reflect upon the signs of beauty, if you think something is beautiful, then you will lose mindfulness. Actually, losing mindfulness and taking the signs of beauty are the same. So when you take the signs of beauty, you lose mindfulness. Then when you lose mindfulness, you take the signs of beauty. So you see something and you think it is beautiful, that it is pretty, then you lose mindfulness. So Buddha teaching is going upstream and not going with the current. So everything seems to be the opposite of what people are doing in this world. At least during a meditation retreat, during the intensive retreat, you stop every beauty. But in normal life, we are looking for beauty. We like beauty. All the time we are looking for beauty. But in the retreat, try not to find beauty, try not to enjoy, try not to enjoy the beauty of nature, try not to enjoy the beauty of flowers, and try not to enjoy beauty of uh, something. So when you enjoy the beauty of things, that means you lose mindfulness. And when you lose mindfulness, what happens? So number two, enjoy it and getting attached to it, you grasp it firmly in your mind. So number two, can you follow me? Enjoying it and getting attached to it, you grasp it firmly in your mind. Enjoy it and getting attached to it, you grasp it firmly in your mind. So what happens when a person loses mindfulness? Being of mindful, beings of mind filled with attachment, he enjoys it, he enjoys beautiful object. When he thinks something is beautiful, then there is attachment, there is greed. There is a desire to possess it. Being of mind filled with attachment, he enjoys it. So he experiences with attachment and he dwells swallowing it, swallow. Since he thinks it is beautiful, uh, he is, as it were, swallow it. He takes it to his heart and wants to keep it for himself and so on. So some teacher remind it is like cows chew the cud, swallow and takes it to his heart and wants to keep it for himself. So being of mind filled with attachment, he enjoys it and dwells swallowing it. And then what happened to next? Number three, Vedana involved with seeing, increase and multiplying. So can you follow me? Number three, Vedana involved with seeing, increase and multiplying. Vedana involved with seeing, increase and multiplying. So what happened to next to such a person? Diverse feelings dependent upon the visible object multiplying. So to such a person who does not apply mindfulness and who see this kinds of beauty and is attached to it, to that person, diverse feelings dependent upon the visible object uh, multiplying. So when he see the beautiful objects or when he see an agreeable objects, pleasurable objects, he has a good feeling. What feeling? Sukha Vedana, pleasant feeling. So for the agreeable objects, he has a unpleasant feeling, dukkha Vedana. When he see disagreeable objects, he has an dukkha Vedana, unpleasant feeling. So he has diverse feeling, various feelings dependent upon the visible object. These feelings multiplying when the object is good, pleasurable, he has good feeling, pleasant feeling, and when the object is bad, when the object is unpleasurable, he has the unpleasant feeling. What happened to next? Number 4, lobha develops and dosa grows. Lobha, greed, develops and dosa, evil or anger grows. And so does your feeling, does his feeling. So can you follow me? Number 4, lobha develops and dosa grows. So does his feeling, so does his suffering. Lobha develops and dosa grows. So does his suffering. So when these feelings multiply, what happens? Lobha and dosa, beja and domanasa, covetousness and aversion torment his mind. So he has these feelings, vedana. When the object is an agreeable one, pleasurable one, lobha, greed, or beja, covetousness torments his mind. He likes the object and he wants to possess it if it is not his. And he may even try to take it by force or by any means. So abhijja or lobha, covetousness or greed arises in him, and so his mind is tormented by lobha, greed, or covetousness, abhijja. If he sees an object which is disagreeable, what happens? He will feel anger or he will feel aversion. So aversion also torments his mind. Even with an agreeable objects, there can be aversion. So when the agreeable objects disappear or agreeable objects is destroyed, then sorrow or lamentation come to him. So he is tormented by sorrow and lamentation. He is tormented, his mind is tormented by sorrow and lamentation, which is a kind of aversion. So to such a person, covetousness, lobha, and aversion, dosa, torment his mind. And then what kinds of person? So he is a seeker of suffering. Buddha said. So number 5, in this way, he became a seeker of suffering. In this way, he became a seeker of suffering. So non-practitioner always go this way. So to the kinds of non-practitioner who does accumulate karma formation, suffering arises. When covetousness or aversion arises in that unmindful person, that means he accumulate karma formation, he accumulate what we call karma. He accumulates deeds. Here it is unwholesome deeds, akusala karma, because covetousness and aversion, lobha and dosa belong to akusala, unwholesome states of mind. When covetousness and aversion torment his mind, torments the minds of unmindful person, he accumulates karma formation. When there are karma formation, when there are unwholesome deeds, suffering arises. That means there is rebirth dependent upon rebirth. There we come aging, sickness, and death. Aging, sickness, death, sorrow, lamentation, and so on. So suffering arises, suffering increase. For such a person, for such an unmindful person who do not practice meditation, Nibbana is said to be far, far away. So a person who does not apply mindfulness, whenever he sees an object is far from Nibbana, that is what side? That is dark side of seeing an object. That is Kanapaka, dark side. And for the yogis who are in the realms of meditation are Sukapeka, bright side. So tomorrow we will continue. Today we have to stop our discourse for today. By practicing Vipassana meditation, by observing every phenomena, by noting, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and knowing continuously and meticulously, may all yogis be liberated from all suffering. May all yogis realize the real peace in the very near future.